Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the SRF Weekend Warriors, live and exclusive here, as always, on Apex Racing TV. Well, what can we say? This week we head back to Europe, to the east side venue that is Zandvoort, back in Holland, and not sure we're going to have a bit of an interesting race. It was a bit of an interesting race last time we visited here in the SRF Weekend Warriors series. And interesting stat for you. Aeronom has dominated the series so much far this season, but he's currently on a free race winless streak. He's after dominating so early on, taking so many victories. Can tonight be the night where he breaks his duck as he looks to take that 4th championship title? Now, last time out we visited Summit Point in America, and Naselli took the victory. However, if you don't like drama, if you don't like action, if you don't like being on the edge of your seat, if you have a bit of a nervous disposition, then I don't recommend you go back and watch last week's, because, well, what a grandstand finish we had to the series, to the race last week out. It was absolutely amazing. I'm Tim Cox. I'm joined by, as always, Jonathan Grabowski, who's providing his knowledge, insight, intellect, and in addition, working the cameras as well. Welcome along, Jonathan.
Welcome. Thank you for having me, Tim. It's always fun, and looking forward to this time out. As you just mentioned, Aeronom is on a 3-race winless streak, so a lot of panic is setting in here amongst those who watch the series on a frequent basis. And watching last time these guys we had carnage. there was a lot of unhappy drivers at the end of this race, and I was telling you prior too, Aeronom and David Baum got into a little bit of an accident. Granted, it was David apologized right off the bat, but we're gonna have it's really nice also to be at a proper racing circuit, proper European racing circuit here, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of action amongst our 3 classes. Not a huge Masters turnout this week, but Spec 1 and Spec 2 are heavily populated.
I think it's probably a good time to, you mentioned about not many Masters drivers with us this week. Well, if it's probably a good time to go through the standings as they currently are and what maybe the implications we're going to have, especially within Masters. Now, in Spec 1, top category, Aeronom being aided by those victories he had early on in the season, currently leading the way, but David Baum, he's not far behind on 92 points. Despite being in the latter part of the season, still plenty of time for him to catch up to the mighty Estonian. Naselli, with his victories now, he's got a couple of victories for the season. He's not far behind as well. And that fight for second place is really holding up, with Marco Panero also with a shout of it in 4th place. Brandon Roseborough, he came up a couple of places, but is well off the lead, despite having that victory earlier in the season. He's battling out with Yuri Cox, Bobby West, Dudu Castro, Peter Mirashek and Jeff Fritcher in that battle for 5th place. It'll be interesting to see who manages to clinch that come the end of the season. Then heading down to Spec 2, well, Vandro Dantas, he leads the way with Ian Gibson only 69 points behind, and John Tussey 93 points behind. So that's really up for grabs. It could go anyway within Spec 2. Then heading down to Masters. Now, Chris Murakami leads the way. Fortunately, we don't have him tonight. Now, that is a driver who has really come alive as the season has come on. He's grown and grown in stature. He is, isn't he? It's just crazy how we've watched him grow and develop as a driver, really, isn't it, Jonathan?
He's been fantastic. The last time he was off the box, Tim, was week 3. Every other time he's been on, look at things. Week 4 was a win. Week 5, 2nd place. Week 6 was a win. Week 7 was a win. Week 8 was an 8th. I mean, so he's been on fire.
Obviously, from last week, Stevie Ray, he managed to jump a couple of places up into 2nd place ahead of Gradwell and Antonio Rice. Now, with us this week, we've got Antonio. He will, without those guys in front of him appearing today, we are looking to haul a fair few points to take the fight to Murakami, Ray and Gradwell. However, don't discredit Jeff Cantor, currently 100 points behind Murakami in 5th place. So he's still very much in the mix and able to take the fight to Murakami. And again, Cantor is one of the drivers who we have this week. So he'll be looking to really make hay while the sun is shining here in the seaside town that is Zandvoort in Holland. Beyond that, it's then really a battle for the best of the rest, really. He's going to take that 6th place in the championship with Bob Kern. Can battle up 1 place, and Doherty as well up a place. Kurt Nunes dropped a couple of places, and Robert rounding out your top 10 in Masters. And drivers just off on their warm-up session right now. That's about halfway through. We'll take you through the results of qualifying very shortly. Now, worth a mention to our sponsors for this series, RaceVoice. You're looking for a simple way to transform complicated performance data into easy-to-understanding voice notifications and alerts. Over 16 different notifications, including upshift, downshifts, overroad alerts, corner entry, turn-in and exit speeds. Provides immediate feedback on driver and vehicle performance. And also, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening here on Apex Racing TV, our socials are as follows. Twitter, we are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And Instagram, that is Apex Racing TV. Surprise, surprise. Now,
Tim, getting back to what you were just saying about, the Masters class, and you just did that wonderful race voice, read, and I try to show Stevie Ray during that read, and there's no Stevie Ray today. And, you know, as we just talked about, Antonio Race is here. He could have a massive points day here. He could potentially, if everything works out right, could take the lead in the Masters class. You know, we've seen him fight for overall victories, come really close, so big day for Antonio Race.
It really, really is, and Zandvoort is a bit of a lottery track in some ways. It's got that old school feel where there's not big runoff areas that we saw even last week at Summit Point, and that's more of an old school track as well. And we could see, if there's a bit of an incident up front, we could see people either getting caught up in it, or equally ending up, being a victim of it, and it really changing the shape of some people's races. And as we see, Antonio Race just have a little bit of a spin there. I think that was down at Hans Ernst there as he flicks the car back around again. So yeah, we could see a lot of drivers really making hay while the sun's shining, or getting caught up in someone else's accident.
Absolutely, and this we saw a lot during practice and during the qualifying session. Quite a few spins, so don't be surprised if we have issues with guys spinning, or our lead guys, really, as we saw a few weeks ago at Mosport. Watch out for lappers who have spun or might be in the middle of the track, like Aeronom experienced.
It's going to be really interesting, and there's not... I'm sure these guys will prove us wrong, as they always do. There's not a high... many of places for overtaking. Realistically, we've got down into Tarzan, which is turn 1. Then probably into turn 9, and then also where we just saw that spin earlier on into Hans Ernst. Other than that, there's not a massive opportunity, but let's just take you through the grid here for round 9. Well, where is the time gone already? Round 9 here at Zandvoort. Well, it's Aeronom. He's out on pole. He's at a 150 dead lap. However, Naselli, look at how close behind he was. 600ths of a second, separating himself and pole. Well, the second row, we've got Marco Panera and David Baum. It's lovely to see the usual suspects at the front. Bartman, he's got Lynn alongside for company on the third row. Bobby West and Castro on the fourth row. This first prospect, 2 drivers, is Savandro Dantas. He's in 9th. We think Boner on 10th. Then we've got Avery and Payne making an all-American row 6. And then it's Fischer and Mayer. With Marnie, it has Peter Mirashek, the pole, alongside him for company. Then we've got Forster and Antonio Rice, the highest of our Masters drivers. Dandalo and Favini rounding out your top 20. Hello, Brain, you'll be disappointed by that one. He's down in 21st as the Italian, with Bradshaw alongside him. Jamie McGuinness has Masters Bob Kern, the second highest of the Masters drivers to qualify. Then we've got Sanchez and Burkett. Gibson as Cox with him, and Bernardo and Short round out your top 30. AJ Jesse has got his fellow countryman Jeff Cantor with him for company in 31st and 32nd. Then it's another all-American row with Jacobson and Kocher, and then Jin and Tani, and then Samuel Dick rounding out your field here. A little bit, well, I would say light on numbers, but it just shows here with 37 cars, what a big field that we're always at the pleasure of witnessing here in the SRF Weekend Warriors. And just following behind the 911 safety car. Can't wait for this one to begin.
How many series do you say it's a light field when there's 37 cars on the track?
Not
many.
No, I cover quite a few different categories, different series, and I'm left scrambling. I can maybe say one, and that's a multi-class in terms of a single class category, racing series. There is no other like this. Let's get ready. We're just waiting for the 911 safety car to pull off. And then we will be away here at Zandvoort. A bit of a longer lap. This is going to be one of the overtaking spots, potentially, that we're going to witness. It's just around the more swooping parts of the track. Got the pleasure of having a full lap behind the safety car. Of course, a rolling start, as is always the custom in this series. Just wait for the field to pull around. You see a long line of Ford spec racers with a, I might say, pokey 1.6, but the car's being so light allows them to be incredibly quick. See some great wheel-to-wheel racing here, as always.
I see fresh face Tony Bartman up there. Let's see what he can do as a newcomer to the series.
It is, yeah. It's good to have some new names. Of course, we had Yang Lin returning a couple of weeks ago at Nordschleife, and he's been really sort of picked up where he left off, where he's returned to the championship. And it's been really good to see. You know, him just come along and picked up where he left off, you might say.
Yeah, Yangshi has always been a strong guy. Took the few first races off, but really was up to speed instantaneously. Looked fantastic a few weeks ago at the Nordschleife.
What a race that was. I mean, it was a crazy race, and that one, another one that went right down to the wire. We say it's another day in Ford spec races, but we really are spoiled by the action that we get to witness here. It's just going to wait for the safety car to pull in, and then we will be away here. Off it goes. Who is going to win the race? Down to turn one. Let's find out, as here we go at Zandvoort. We are away. And look at them all spread out across the field there.
Oh, we got 3 wide.
3 wide up and down the field there. Everyone looking just to get through safely right now. I think everyone's just about managed to. Looks like everyone in the background has done no one spin. Just watch Bobby West coming through there. What can he do? The Brit. His championship hands. Aspirations to go side by side now through Hungerholtz. A couple of lines available to the drivers through there. So they now open up the taps for this fast flowing section where they'll be slipstreaming behind one another. Aeronom out into the lead and just ever slightly pulling away from Panera. I'm sure we'll be seeing the custom strategy that the top guys, they all seem to work together and have a gentleman's agreement to pull away from the field. You see on the signing tower on the left hand side of your screen, Dantas, the Spec 2 racer, he's coming along for the ride as well in 7th place. Running for Zhangxi Lin. See closing right up onto the back of Panero. And they'll be, I'm sure, looking for his first win of the season. And what a chance he's got currently being in 3rd, and this top group currently breaking away a little bit from the Selly, who lost out on the first lap. He's dropped a couple of places back into 4th.
Dantas is in trouble.
He is, yes. I'm not too sure what's happened to him, but look, he's just losing place after place after place, falling down the order.
Let's take a look and see what happened.
Interesting to see what happened to Dantas. So everything looking okay now. You can see him just there in that blue livery car. Does he lose it on entry? He does. He just runs in too deep, trying to catch up the car in front of him, which was number 73, Dudu Castro, and ends up going from 7th place. He's now all the way down in 12th place. He's lost 5 places.
Yeah, great job everyone avoiding him. Great avoidance.
It was. It could have been. It's one of the tighter parts of the track, that is, and it could have been absolute disaster. But everyone filing through. Amazingly, we've got away incredibly cleanly here at Zandvoort with no real instance, which is a bit of surprise, really, with the nature of the track that we have here. Just look at the Selly, who's managed to close up the gap to Lin a little bit, but David Bomb right all over his gearbox. And they are cutting adrift Castro, who's down in 6th. You can't even see him in the shot. He's dropped around about nearly coming up to 1.5 seconds off this lead pack of 5.
That breakaway group, Tim, we talk about.
Oh no, this has been Naselli. I'm not sure. Was that contact? I'm not sure. He was battling with Lynn. And Naselli, after winning last time out, is falling down the order. He's down in 20th place. He might even lose another place here to Paolo Brain. Potentially, he looks like he's going to come past him as the Italian. And he's going to slot it up the inside.
Take a look.
This is going to be interesting to see how this one happened, Jonathan. So
he just locked it up, trying to get inside Yang Shilin.
There we go. Unforced error. Trying to get the move done early. The aeronom setting the fastest race safe of the lap so far. Fastest lap of the race so far. Right, where's wrong order? 50.5, but that's more and more. Of course, these cars are limited on their fuel capacity, so we'll be seeing pit stops, and as always, it always proves an interesting part of the race. Which tends to bring some cars back together. Some people win, some people lose from it.
Yeah, we're already starting to see that breakaway pack, Tim, and then as we look at Michael Finbonner, he's essentially the leader of the peloton right here, with everyone else behind him.
Well, interesting. I mean, Castro, he's in a little pocket all by himself. And then we've got Lynn and Bone, who in another little group. But the ones really to capitalise from this are Norman Pinero, who've really broken away. And they've pulled out a 2-second gap over that second little group of Lynn and Bone. Just might be able to see him in the background there. So what was, a top group of 5, this is now down to a group of 2.
Yeah, Aeronam must be loving this, just breaking away from everyone. Marco Pinero, who we know is really fast, not as experienced as Aero, so nice little 2-car break for them.
As we mentioned earlier, Aeronom has not won in the last 3 races. Could today be the day that he breaks his duck.
It just goes to show how dominant he is. We've talked about, we're all panicking. Oh my God, Aeronom has won in 3 races. Ooh. Shows how exceptional.
He's come back to to the championship, and we should just see Andalo there just getting a little bit wide and kicking up some dirt, but we're going to have in the foreground a free wide, but as we see Andalo just moving out to the inside, trying to make it. Oh, there we've got a sprinter there. That's Jeff Ritcher there, just losing it into turn 1, which is allowed Naselli and Favini and Andalo to come through. Ritcher's just feeling the pressure right now, as he's got Paolo Brain tucked up right behind him. Let's take a little look at how this happened. So they went 3 wide into Tarzan. 3 into 1 normally doesn't go. Fritsch on the outside and just cut in a little bit too much there. The 2 on the inside had nowhere to go. Just the unfortunate victim there was the American. Now he's all the way back down in 21st. He's down 8 places from where he started.
A lot of lockups.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of lockups so far.
Jeez, trying to get past Andalo here. That's Favini just ahead of them, isn't it? Yes. He's with Naselli clawing his way back through the field. He's up to 18th, so he's managed to pick up a couple of places. That earlier spin. He'll be looking to pick his way back through. Be interesting to see what he can do as he tries to carve his way through the field.
Well, looks like Finbar had an issue.
It does. He's running. Ooh, he's even got a slowdown there. He's incredibly slow off this corner. As he's dropped behind, all the way behind Naselli there. He's already slow.
He must have had a slowdown or something.
He's got to have done, because he's already on the, the entrance there to Hans Ernst. He's already.
Oh, now he's off track.
No. What has happened there? To Michael Finkboner, German.
Let's see what happens.
Maybe he's expecting, technical difficulties or something, because he's running incredibly slowly by his own standards, and then heads off track. Not sure what's happened to the German there.
That's tough luck, because Michael's been running so well recently.
It is. He's headed into the pit, so clearly technical difficulties for the German. However, we head back out on front. Aeronome still leading the way here as he approaches quarter race distance. He's top 10 right now is Aeronome. Marco Panera is second. It's up behind him. And a bit of a gap down to Yang Ji Lin. He's got Bone for company. Then it follows the next group. The peloton, as you called it, Jonathan, with Payne leading that. West, Mayer, Dantas, Castro and Avery rounding out your top 10. But realistically, that group is pretty much all the way down to Marnie in 12th place. And then that then starts off another group of cars from Bartman, which pretty much just spans most of the rest of the field, really. Just see John Payne leading the charge in this group.
Like Antonio Rice went to the pits as well, which surprising. I would say he was in due for a big day, and he's currently running in last place.
Something has happened to him, and a real golden opportunity for him to have a big hole of points if he wants to take the fight to Murakami.
So that's going to put Bob Kern as our current Masters class leader today, with Jeff Cantor in second.
Cantor's not, by Weekend Warriors standards, but only 3 seconds behind. He's not a massive amount of time behind. Kern will be looking to maybe put Burkitt, who's just ahead of him, that black spec racer, between the pair of them. It's a bit of a rear guard. You just see Naselli now. He's up to 13th place already. He is the perennial hot knife, and the rest of the field definitely is butter as he's cutting his way through them. Remember, he tumbled all the way down to 20th after that earlier spin. But Bartman, the Canadian, is tucked up right behind him. Not making exactly life easy for Naselli, not letting him get away here, Jonathan.
No, Bartman was really fast as well in qualifying. These two are fairly even, so I don't expect Bartman to really make it easy at all for him, Tim.
Ahead of them is Marnie, who's about 1.5 seconds up the road. That then starts the next train of cars, which pretty much will then take them all the way up to John Payne in 5th, and I'm sure we're about to see Naselli and Bartman working together to cut their way through. Talking about that train.
Yeah, that peloton's kind of broken up just a little bit, so we now have a few different groups kind of running around right now.
We do, but just see him in the background there. The way that Naselli is already really starting to catch up onto them. You feel it's not going to be long before he's up onto the back of them and getting involved, and I'm sure he'll be getting his elbows out and fighting in amongst them. As we see Payne just come across the start-finish line there at the very bottom of your screen. Behaving for now. I'm sure they'll be all trying to work together to prevent that lead group from getting away from them, and there is a big gap now between Bohm in 4th and Payne in 5th. Currently, around about just over 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds. Bohm and Lynn currently working together to pull up themselves back up onto the back of Norman Panero, who are 3 seconds ahead of this pair.
Yeah, Norman Panero have really checked out. And then, as we know, it all comes down to pit stops. This could potentially be our battle right here. I think Panero's content right now to stay behind Nom until the pit stops occur, because there's no use really, fighting. Let's just break away from everyone else behind him, because we know Yangxi's really fast, David Baum's fast, but also one of the safer pairs of hands in this series.
Now, of course, as well, at this stage of the race, we're normally used to seeing the battle for the lead being as low as 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think we've even had 8 at one stage so far this season, and it's quite a bit of a surprise here to see just 2 pulling away. Of course, with Naselli dropping out of that group, it's allowed them, that's sort of, oh, there we go. Avery just having a big switch there, and he's going to drop at least 1, maybe 2 places here. Richet getting through. Marnie now looking to capitalise. And from Switzerland, now hooked up onto the back. He's going to get the slipstream as well. But so is Avery from Mirashek. well just cancel them out. However, Naselli, look how close he is behind them. A few seconds ago, start of the lap, he was around about 1.5 seconds behind these guys. Oh, you should see Latham just running a bit deep. He hangs onto it, drifts round Tarzan, and that has allowed Marnie through. But here comes Naselli as he looks to cut his way through and get a bit of the action. I was just about to say he was 1.5 seconds behind this group. Now he is right up onto the back of them.
Yeah, Naselli wants all these guys to be racing each other pretty hard so he can catch up on them, catch their draft. You know, he could easily suck up a few places in the next few laps, the way things are going with this group.
Easily. So this is one of the places where they'll just be following behind each other. It's a bit more of the faster flowing sections on the track. As they head down to turn 7. 90-degree corner. Well, this is where you might potentially see an overtake, and there you go, Naselli up the inside. To Masters. Just be careful here though as they come round turn 9. Everybody would have been able to cut back through, but Naselli is up. He's up to 12. He's only got another 10 places to make up, and then he'll be back where he started. You wouldn't discredit him at all, but Fritcher just under a bit of pressure here. That's Bradshaw heading through. And Bradshaw, oh no, as he runs a bit deep then. Can Fritcher get back through? Or can Darlow pick both the pockets?
Looks like Andella got tied up behind him right there.
It seemed to kill off all this momentum, didn't it? As Fritcher's just getting ahead of Bradshaw, getting the place back. Bradshaw now tucked right up onto the gearbox. Fritcher, what can he do? Can Andale pull something out of the bag? That is how close it is.
That's how close these guys are.
Literally almost touching distance, almost having the bump draft down the start-finish straight there. And Fritcher lives to fight another day and holds on to that place for now. Wait, how close those guys are, you just have to wonder how long it will be for. So we head back up this group near the front with Bobby West. He's taken charge of it. So 5th place is the Brit. Hey, just dropping back a place down to 6th. With Dantas, Castro, Mirishek not too far behind. You feel this is where the action's going to be, Jonathan, in this sort of chunky, the peloton group as you've called it there, behind the two little, micro lead groups of Norman Lynn, Bowman, Panetta. Hold on, what's happened out front? Because Panera's dropped right back, and Norm somewhere. Because Norm is out in the lead and all by himself.
Take a look and see what happened. Let's go back to that group, and I will see what happened to Marco Panera.
I'll keep an eye on these guys for you, Jonathan, while you dig through the archives to try and find out what happened to him, because he's dropped right off there.
Let's take a look.
And he's lost a whole heap of time.
So let's take a look here. Did he outbrake himself?
It seems to be a bit of a common thing. I can't quite tell from this camera angle where they are. I think maybe down in some miles of the stool. Oh, there you go. That's what happened. There go Lynn and Bohm. That's through the more faster part, through around Rob Saltmarker. As we see West losing out to Payne as they swap places. That's down into Tarzan, turn 1.
Mayer's involved. This is a great battle because all these guys are so evenly matched. I feel like we talk about West, we talk about Mayer, we talk about Payne. They're all kind of in that group every single week.
I'll tell you what, Naselli, he's made up another place. Something's happened to Marnie. He's come off and he's fallen through the order, which is elevated Naselli. He's back up. He's up into 11th now.
Take a look
but these guys. Oh no!
Oh, Naselli! Oh. Naselli almost got it.
That could have been so much worse. That could have been a big, big incident. But luckily, everyone taking evasive action now. Well, that's been going on. Burkett, McGuinness, Favini, and Short have all headed to the pits early on, taking. Well, say very early on. I'm not sure quite. We're nearly at half race distance. I have no idea where that time's quite gone. And course, no Stevie Ray in this week to take his normal, being the first person to take to the pit, but
I think we need like an award for.
Sorry, cut across you, Jonathan, but Payne, he just ran a little bit deep there across the entrance into Hans Bogt. But it looks, Wes won the slower parts of the circuit. I think he's managed to get away with it. And
he has.
Wes was unable to capitalise from it. So they now head out to the start, finish straight, and we got one of them peeling off there.
That's Mayer.
Simon Mayer. He's pulled into the pits, the first one to break away, but Dantas, he's got Castro just come past him. Sorry, yeah. And that's got him up a place. But what can Naselli do? He's now he's just fallen off this little group a little bit.
Well, he was almost caught up in that accident right there, so had to put on the blinders for a few.
He was, and just having a little look at his car, a bit of damage to the front left corner from that contact, but with the raw pace that Naselli has, I'm sure it won't affect him too much here. Fourth's got Sancelli and Bernardo heading into the pits. Mayer currently the highest of all the drivers to pit so far. He's in 22nd. Keep one eye on him. He's towards the bottom of your timing tower. And be interesting to see where he's going to come out, as all those cars that he was battling in and around are still carrying on around the track. But right now, Tani is trying to find his way past AJ Jesse, but Jeff Jacobson not making it easy for him as he tries to find his way. That's the Estonian.
If you ever want to see what it's like to drive in one of these Weekend Warrior races, Jeff Jacobson will post his his race on YouTube, his in-car, and it is, some of it is wildly entertaining. It's because he's all,
Contacts, and well, I tell you what, that'd be worth going back to Jeff Jacobson Street to have a look at that one. And there's another car off as well in a separate incident. I think I think that's Bobby Kocher as well. So he was caught up in a completely separate incident. I mean, I have to wonder whether they all spotted what was happening to Kocher up in front, and that's what caused that second incident there.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. Let's see what happened here with Kocher.
Well, it was a bit crazy, really. On the grass, okay, so that's not affected him. See, they've both lost it, trying to outbrake one another.
Oh,
there you go. Wow. So they must have been from seeing Kocher in the middle of the track. Must have unsettled him. That's what caused the accident behind. So we now see this battle for fifth resuming.
Yeah, this has been the battle of the day so far. Naselli's caught onto the tail end of it, Tim.
Yeah, that's what. The action has been happening out on track now. Mayer actually he wasn't about 20th. No, he's a little bit lower than that. Apologies about that. He was 22nd, but he's up to 21st. He was in amongst this group. Now, they will be coming in, just looking at the time now, somewhere within the next 10 minutes, we'll probably see most of this group, if not all of them, head to the pits.
Now it's going to get more difficult for Naselli. Now that he's amongst guys that are a bit more faster, closer to his speed, he's going to have a lot more work to do. Or does he play the pit strategy game?
Yeah, now he's caught right up onto the back, and does he head to the pits? Well, it won't take long to find out. I'm sure the racer in Naselli will want to carve his way through this group as well. But no, there we go. You called it, Jonathan. He's into the pits. Likewise, Avery as well is in. Forster as well, the two Americans. He'll head to pit row. Now, where is Naselli going to come out? I would imagine he's come out somewhere around Kern Dick Jacobson, that sort of area.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. We'll find out very shortly. See Simon Mayer, he's still leading the way in terms of drivers that have stopped. So no, they're heading out. It's going to be interesting to see as we've got action.
Naselli.
Oh no! That could have been... Oh, and he nearly got tagged from behind then. There was Avery as he maybe took him exit in the pits. Avery just backing out, seeing the cars coming through, and Naselli saying, "No, I'm off." See,
oh no,
there's the spinner. There was Meyer. Oh, no. Meyer. Naselli. He's hit Cantor. An absolute down at Herkenholtz. A big incident. And Naselli, after all of his hard work, let's take another look at what happens.
Here's
This
Meyer.
is Meyer at the front. I think he lost it of his own accord, didn't he, down into Herkenholtz?
Yeah, he went off right there.
Oh,
Hit
caught the
wall.
grass,
Oh.
back across the track.
Oh.
Oh, no. And it goes from bad to worse for Naselli here at
Look at that from
Zandvoort.
Naselli's angle here. So right on board with Mauricio.
They're ahead of us. Ooh, yeah, he had nowhere to go, did he? They were all just innocent and at the mercy of Simon Mayer there, who was out of control by that stage through no fault of his own. Where he was colliding with the barrier. Oh, wow, this has been happening. Oh, we've had West Dantas and Fritcher into the pit. They've all come in from that peloton group, as we've, if you've aptly renamed them, Jonathan. And while that's happening, Nom, he is still out in the lead now, 5 seconds clear of Yang Ji Lin and David Bohm in second and third. Batting it out for the last place on the podium. But Lin has managed to break away from Bohm, and Pinero is now on the attack of Bohm. So they fight it out. That last remaining place on the podium here at Zandvoort in weekend 9 of the SRF Weekend Warriors with Race Voice.
We talked about big
Wow.
points days for guys, and this could be a huge points day for Aeronom. You know, first off, Brendan Roseborough isn't here, and also one of his biggest rivals in Mauricio Naselli's just had a very tough day. So, big day for Nom.
It is a big day, and right now he's in a really commanding position. So he's pulling away from Lin in second place, and he's got to feel that Aeronom just needs to straight the car home, bring it home safely. Just see Andalo, who's a little pocket of space behind in ninth, with Bartman ahead of him, about 4 seconds up the road, and behind him is Bradshaw, 5 seconds behind us. Our leader is in. Aeronom, the Estonian, is in from the lead. Well, this is the only thing that could hamper him. As you see, Lin, he's carried on. Likewise, Bowman, Pinero have as well. You might be able to see coming into your screen as we've got Mirashek. He's in from that big group that was battling over fifth. Payne, Castro have carried on. You would imagine Bartman will as well. Yes, he
Seeing where
has.
Nom comes out.
And this is the only thing that could hamper him. Of course, with these large grids that we have here in Weekend Warriors, is that no matter when you pit, you always come out into traffic. And he tucks in just behind Bradshaw, having the same issues that Naselli did on pit exit. There's also Cox and Mirashek heading out right now. And what can Aeronom do? He'll be looking to clear Bradshaw as quickly as possible, because then there's a big gap to Andalo in 7th, who's about 5 seconds ahead of these two right now. But you almost feel Bradshaw just yielding a little bit to Nom, hoping to pick up some pace by following the Estonian through, copying his lines and breaking points, looking to try and pick up some speed to get away from the clutches of Marnie, who's just behind them. And heading back up to this battle for second. Pinero, what can he do, the Italian? These two have lots of experience racing with one another. With roughly coming up to, what, some 12 minutes left of the race. Will they come in at the same time to cover each other off, or will we see one of them keep going for another lap here in Holland? We'll find out very shortly. So I'd say that looks like, there we go, they're in. They're going to cover each other off. They come hard on the race into the pit lane. Lin carries on. They're in.
I'm not surprised they went in together. I'm sure Pinero was going to just wait and see what Baum did, just so they could work together. Now that everyone's kind of spread out, Naselli, who Pinero usually works with, is, you know, is done for the day pretty much. So smart move by Panero right there.
Definitely a smart move. See Andalo here just coming through. Behind him is, well, our leader before the pit stop, Sarah Nom. What is the gap going to be between himself, Bomb, and Panero after the round of pit stops? So that's going to be a really interesting one to see. Because right now it's looking at it's, if anything, Jonathan, I'd say they've managed to catch Aeronom slightly during the pit stops, because that gap has shrunk by, I'd say, around about 1.5 seconds, which then makes you wonder, what has Lin managed to do? He's carried on, obviously on light fuel, able to set much quicker times, out in the lead, not really with anyone in front of him.
Yeah, I think clean track is critical right now. I think what Yang Shi's doing right now, I want to see when he's got a couple cars in front of him right here. When does he make the call to duck in?
Well, we'll find out very shortly. He's coming around the last couple of corners around Kumo. And this long sweeping right-hander is the last corner here. Got a feel he's going to head in. Yes, he's heading into the pit lane. Now, what gap has he got over Aeronom? He's got 25 seconds, I believe. Roughly, now it's about 36 seconds for a stop here. So I'm not sure whether actually Lin's actually done enough himself. Castro and Payne are also into the pits. Likewise, Bartman. So our top 4 are here into the pits, as that looks like Andalo. Yes, it is.
Yeah, whole group, Andalo, Bartman, Payne.
Now, here comes Nom. But there's Lin heading out of the pits. You'll probably just see, there he is, there's Nom. I'll tell you what, Jonathan, Nom's lost a whole heap of time, because Lin, before the pit stops, was, he was about 4 seconds behind. So he's managed to gain about 3 seconds thanks to his pit strategy here.
Yeah, usually Aeronom's one of the better guys when it comes to pit strategy, but looking at his times, his pit time was almost 2.5, 3 seconds slower than, Lin and Baum. And then looking at his total pit lane time here, he's almost 4 seconds slower, which that's not very Aeronom-like.
It's not. I mean, maybe he's resting on his laurels a little bit, knowing that he got that big buffer of time and not having to worry, but maybe he's approached it a bit too calmly.
But also, think about this. He wasn't drafting. He was kind of all by himself, where these other guys, Lin, Baum, Panero, were all kind of working with each other. They were able to potentially save some fuel, so maybe taking a conservative approach here with the pit stops.
I could well be. I mean, I'm just looking at where it's come about is Aeronom was stopped stationary for an additional 3 seconds compared to Lin, Baum and Panero. And that's where he's lost the time, was in the pit box. Those extra 3 seconds is what's allowed Lin to catch up. But will Lin be able to take the fight to him? We'll find out. It's not long left to go. We've got about 8 minutes left here at Zandvoort. Just watch Paolo Brame. He's got Favini looking to make a move behind. There's Brame. There's his own aspirations to get past Burkett in front of him. This battle happening over 17th place right now. As always, battles up and down the field. Slightly hard to know where to look at times, due to the competitiveness of this championship. There's a real battle going on over this last place on the podium between Bowman and Panero. There's Panero closing right up to the back of the German now. And I'd imagine within the next couple of minutes, we're going to see Panero start to get his elbows out a little bit, or is he... I was almost wondering whether he's going for it even now there, Jonathan.
Yeah, wondering. And David Baum, he's one of the safest pair hands now. Guys in the series get extra points for how safe they drive, and every week you see David Baum being one of those guys getting some extra points for being that safe pair of confident hands on this spec racer Ford.
But you do have to wonder if these guys they want to work together a little bit, maybe to just pull themselves back up onto the back of Lynn and then have a three-way fight for second, almost. Because it almost feels like Lynn is starting to pull away from those two behind them, where they're almost, playing a game of chicken with one another, trying to guess which way they're going. It's hard to know really what's going through everyone's minds right now. Lynn just seems to have neutralised that gap to Nom ahead of him, and Nom, although initially pulled a couple of attempts over Lynn, has now that gap sort of stabilised a little bit, but just heading a little bit down the field as Dantas has got Bartman behind him. What can Bartman do?
Dantas, our Spec 2 leader.
Yes, and a big shout out as well to Bob Kern down in 28th, currently leading Masters here. But here comes Bartman. Heading up the inside as Bob Kern, our leader in... Oh, is he locking up the leader of Masters as Bartman, he's managed to sling it up the inside into Tarzan. That's upper place, he's up into 7th. Still down 2 places from where he's qualified. But still plenty of time here to go. Still opportunity for Evandre Dantas to pick it up Bartman's pocket and find a way past. Be interesting to see. So we just look back to a little group of 4 cars we've got here. So it's Mirashek, Avery, Forster and Andalo. Andalo's just a little bit off the rear, but all as we've seen already this race, and especially if you haven't seen the series before, what it takes is a couple of cars to start battling, and a car that almost looks a little bit cut adrift catches up incredibly quickly. As we see.
Yeah, Foster and Dello are 2nd and 3rd in Spec 2, so this is for the last 2 steps on the podium here.
It's
but also,
be interesting.
Actually, check that Avery Spec 2, I believe, as well.
So it's going to be really interesting. What can Forster do? You can see Dantas isn't too far up the road. I think time's pretty much ran out for him to try and pick his way through these guys to get back through. Oh, they run a bit deep there into Hans Ernst, and Avery just losing a place to Mirashek, and Avery could lose another place here potentially to Forster. What Forster do? He's going to have the run through Kumo, through the final turn. He's tucked up into slipstream range, right up onto the rear wing. Can he get the move done? They've all headed to the inside to cover off that inside line, trying to break the stream. And Forster has managed to squeeze his way past Avery there, down into Tarzan. I think now look to use Mirashek ahead of him just to pull them through. Drivers fast fighting for the last couple of places inside the top 10 here at Zandvoort. This battle definitely not over.
Great move by Foster there.
It was. He set it up way before, all the way back in Kumo. So 2 corner, the second to last corner. I'll tell you what, as we look on from Avery right now, Forster is looking like he's not just happy with taking Andal. He's also, Avery even, looks like he's going to have a go to nab the place off Mirashek as well. Oh no, somebody's after Mirashek. I'm not sure if he ran a bit deep or locked up. Because that has allowed Forster and Avery's managed to find his way through as well. But what that's been going on, look, Andalo's right on to the back of them, but also, these guys have been battling. Fitcher and Bradshaw, them not too far behind as well. Bradshaw, a bit of an eventful race for him. He's up 8 places so far today. Not long left here. We've probably got, just looking at the timer, average lap times about, leaders. Oh no! That could have been disaster there. This fight for the last place on the podium. Panero's finally finding his way through, past David Bohm. For now.
Looks like Foster had an issue here. Let's take a quick look.
have a look.
I think he might have just had oh, slid it.
Drifted out wide. All of the hard work from the American is undone. He's now down to 13th after it looked like he was on for a top 10 finish here in round 9.
That's probably going to take him off the Spec 2 podium.
It is whether, you know, we had so many Spec 2 guys in and around that little, you know, that group of cars. Really cost him dearly. One mistake. Changing the shape of things here in Spec 2.
These guys have been separated from each other all race long, Castro and West.
I tell you what, these guys, we've seen so many battles between these two all season long, and here they are again, Castro and West, not leaving each other alone. It's almost like they seem to have, they're magnetized to one another.
Oh, for
these
sure.
Two. They're in a bit of a pocket of space, so we'll keep one eye on that battle. We'll keep another eye as we see Aeronom coming around to what's surely going to be his last lap here. There's Pinero and Bomb just fighting out in the background a little bit as well. Keep another eye on that one. There we go, side by side as Bomb has nicked the place back, or has he? They're going to come side by side. They nearly end up on the grass, both of them. But somehow David Bomb has managed to squeeze the place past. Pinero takes back that last spot on the podium. And everything coming down to the wire here.
Oh, we got traffic.
Marcus
Look at this move!
Oh, here we go. Can Pinero going to be a Sonic Boom? Oh no, we've lost Pinero through one of the fastest parts of the track, over the rise. But it is the fault of Marco Pinero here at Zandvoort. And that is going to give David Bohm that last place on the podium.
Elbows were out right there with both of them. That was very aggressive.
They weren't out. They were sharpened heavily as well, weren't they? Really going at it, those two.
You know, as we've talked to him, that it seems like this season the driving's got more aggressive, and last season Zandvoort was very aggressive. So I think we just put them both in the blender, shook it up, and
there we go.
Some action.
Oh, definitely. As always, going right down to the wire here in SRF Weekend Warriors. But to break his winless streak, here he comes. Your victor here in round 9 at Zandvoort in Holland. It's Aeronom. Zhang Jilin coming home in second. David Bomb completing the podium overall and obviously in Spec 1.
This battle here.
Avery just coming through there. Of Bartman, but Bartman in a bit of trouble. He's got Mirashek looking to hang it around the outside. What can they do? It's going to be a fight to the line between those two. But it looks like Mirashek's just going to get it. And is even Avery going to lose out? Potentially to Andalo. I think he has.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, right at the line.
That's your Spec 2 win right there.
Andalo taking it literally at the line. Wow, another photo finish here at Zandvoort. Someone off in the background there just spinning. That was Santinelli. Taking a little look, we've got that battle in the foreground there. That's between Gibson, Bernardo and Jacobson. Going to see another fight right to the line. Can Bernardo find his way past? He's going to throw everything at it. Here he comes, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Gibson's going to get to the line first. There we go. Gibson holds on to 23rd place. Bernardo having second to 22nd, and Jacobson in 23rd, respectively. See, Bradshaw slowed right down. Is he run out of fuel? It's the only thing I can think it possibly being. It is a bizarre one if he has, because just looking at his pit stop time, he was stationary for pretty about the same sort of time as everyone else, and he was one of our later stoppers, so sure what's happened to Bradshaw there. They're a bit of a strange one.
That was interesting. Interesting. Right at the end, everything got a little. The race was on the verge of getting crazy, then it got really crazy toward the end. But Aeronom, normal service has resumed.
It has, as the Estonian takes yet another win for the season here in Holland. But I'll tell you what, Jonathan, while we just wait for the last few drivers, they're just currently lining up for their traditional demolition derby they always have at the end. Let's run you through your results, then we'll speak to a couple of the drivers. So Aaron taking the victory here, Yang Julin and David Bond rounding out your podium. Panero is going to feel absolutely gutted by that one. That fight with David Bond, the elbows out, run down to Masters. Any disaster for Panero and having to come home fourth. Dudu Castro was fifth, sixth. Mirashek at the line there, squeezing through to come home seventh. And Darlow, just look how close that was. Only 2/10 separating himself and Avery. And Darlow taking the victory here in Spec 2. Bartman rounding out your top 10. Dantas, Forster, Cox, Marnie and Favini coming home in 15th. Hallow Brain, Burkitt and Short were 16th, 17th and 18th respectively. A bit down the field, we had Nick was 19th. Fink Bonner rounding out your top 20. Gibson, he was 21st with Bernardo 22nd. Jacobson, the first of four Americans in 23rd, with Sanchene, Jin and Kocher taking you up to 26th place. Then it was two Brits of McGuinness and Bradshaw. A bit of an odd one from Bradshaw at the light. Well, last couple of corners. Like he ran out of fuel, but not too sure what happened to him. With then Fritcher and Kern rounding out his top 30. And it was Tarney. He finished a lap down from Bradshaw downwards there. A lap down to Payne, Cantor, and all the last of the drivers who finished off just off the lead lap. A lap down. AJ Jesse, 3 laps down in 34th. Simon Mayer obviously after that earlier incident with Naselli involved as well. They finished 10 laps down. Antonio Race be gutted by that one. A big chance here for a big haul of points and a real missed opportunity. The Portuguese driver finishing 18 laps down and rounding out your field here at Zandvoort. But let's have a little chat too. Your race victor for tonight, Aeronom, welcome to the commentary booth. Hello, can you hear us, Aero?
Yeah.
Hello. Congratulations on the win, breaking a little streak of 3 races for yourself.
Yeah, it was more straightforward. I just went all out, so yeah. And it wasn't easy because in the first part I knew Panero will not help me, so I had to do it all myself.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying in the commentary that obviously when Naselli obviously dropped off, that almost helped you a little bit because we're normally used to seeing a breakaway front group of about anywhere between 5 and 8 cars, but after Naselli dropped off, it really just left yourself and Panero really just to battle it out from the start. And did that make things a little bit easier, knowing that you hadn't got such a large group of cars behind you?
Yeah, it was pretty easy if it's come to this, but it was difficult because Panero was so close, he didn't want to pass me, so I saw his rear tires are overheating, and I saved my rear tires, so yeah, when he spun I knew his rear tires were gone.
Just looking at us, obviously after you came into your pit stop, you seemed to stop compared to your competitors around you. You were stationary for an extra 3 seconds. Was there anything that caused that? Because when after the pit stops have all happened, you found out Yang Jilin was actually only a second or so behind you. Did you start to get a little bit nervous there, or did you know that things were always in control once you'd lost Panero from battling with you?
Yeah, definitely. If you look at championships, there was no worries even if Panero or Lin beat me. But yeah, pit stop, this is the fuel I needed. I didn't have less or more. It was pretty much accurate, so yeah.
Okay, no worries. Oh, of course, next time out we'll head to an incredibly different circuit to Zandvoort. We head to Brazil in Interlagos. How do you feel about Interlagos? Is it one of your stronger tracks, or you feel less confident having there?
I don't think that there is any difference, just more straights there, so more overtaking, maybe bigger groups.
No worries. Brilliant. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thanks to at all before we leave you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the lead admins and sponsors and you guys there in the booth.
Okay, brilliant. That's Aaron. You're Victor here in round 9 at Zandvoort. There we go. The efficient Estonian, as always, with his understated tone, making it sound like just another walk in the park there, Jonathan.
Yeah, just another typical day in the life of Aeronom and the SRF Weekend Warriors, Tim.
Definitely. Let's have another catch up with another victor tonight. So you're welcome to the commentary booth, Flavio and Darlo, the Brazilian, taking the win here in the Spec 2 category. Congratulations, Flavio. Oh. No, can you hear us at all? Not too sure. We'll see if we can come back to Andalo shortly. Let's have a little chat with another of our drivers who had to, well, you might say settle for second, but it was a really hard fought second. Yang Link, want to come along to the commentary booth?
Hello.
Well, it looked like a really crazy race out there today. Did it feel like that within the cockpit?
I don't know. It was more like a weird race. I think that's a more proper word for it.
Definitely. And obviously, when he lost Naselli early on, which really seemed to sort of, you know, allow Norman Pinero to sort of get away from yourself and bomb a little bit, really. I mean, it became incredibly close between, you know, with Naselli and yourself, obviously, just coming into that incident. Did you get a bit nervous at that stage?
Yes. I mean, I feel like I had enough pace, so that's why I kept myself ahead of them. But it appears that I'm lower at certain corners, and I mean, like that turn was one of the turns that I think everyone is struggling with. Maurizio tried to overtake me there. I got distracted, and I went off track at the exit and just lost the draft.
Now, after the round of pit stops had sort of, you know, sorted itself out, we've just spoken to Aeronom, who seemed incredibly cool and calm, as he always does about it. Like, you had it in the bag, but you found yourself, you know, the gap had heavily reduced down to just over a second. Did you feel there was a chance that maybe you might just be able to catch him and battle for the victory here at all, or did you feel that you were never going to catch Norm at all?
I mean, I was 1.5 seconds behind him, but you know, he is the alien. I'm not expecting him to make any mistakes. That's outside of the draft range. So unless I don't know, unless miracle happen, I'm just gonna finish second.
Obviously, Interlagos next week, and well, no one was saying it's a similar type of circuit, but it's a lot wider than it is here at Zandvoort. Is it a race you're looking forward to?
I would say it's a totally different type of circuit. Interlagos has a lot more heavy braking zones, and it will be a more, I don't know, hand-to-hand combat than this race is more time trial. Yeah, for sure, I'm looking forward to it. I think Interlagos in 2020 Season 2 was one of the most fun races I've had.
Definitely. So it's definitely going to be one to watch out for, and we're looking forward to commentate on it as well. Is there anyone you want to give thanks to or give a shout out to at all? Well, we still got you.
I mean, thank you guys for broadcasting the event, obviously. And I don't know how Maurizio feel about the start. I mean, we're looking at his first fill up charge on me. Maybe he is a little bit angry about it. So I don't know if he thinks it's unfair. I think it is fair. I just hope that he's not too upset about it.
No worries. That's it. Yang Jilin coming home in second place here at Zandvoort. Let's see if we can try and we'll see if we can try and grab Andalo and see if he can hear from us. Flavio, can you hear us now? Okay. I think the silence says no there. I think Jonathan, and clearly speechless after his victory. Expect to here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, it got wild. We had a really wild week. Going into it, I expected based off of last season, and it didn't fail to deliver. That's for sure.
It never seems to. It seems to be. It's almost like you can just copy that phrase and just play it out after every single round. It never fails to disappoint on action, drama, and excitement to the series.
Yeah, and we have a new nickname for Aeronam. I know Dennis Branch, our partner at Apex Racing, referred to him as a beast, which I've been calling him now. Yang Shinley has called him an alien, so he's got a few new nicknames.
Definitely, and it's definitely the driver to beat, especially with yet another victory for Aeronom here. Round 9, as mentioned. Next week we are off to South America, the beautiful Interlagos, a absolute classic track. In the meantime, if you haven't had enough racing action tonight, we have got the IGP Fun F3 series. There's round 9 for them. They are straight on after us here at Zandvoort, funnily enough. That's due to short start in around about 20 minutes time. Then, coming up to about 4 hours time, if my maths is correct, we have got the XSLR Road Series presented by Wild West. They are at I'm just trying to have a look. So no, they're at Wild West. Apologies, I'm getting mixed up there.
It's the off-road track.
Dangerous. It is, yes. Then we've got on Monday night we have got the Mazda Cup. They are off to Road Atlanta, followed by the IndyCar Series. They are at the absolutely iconic a match made in heaven for those cars, Indianapolis, and then with the Rigmatech Lamborghini Trophy Series. That's round 6 at Sebring. Well, we're keeping up and watching those. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with when we go live for all of our broadcasts and what's happening. Well, Jonathan, I think time for us to go and have a lie down after that one.
Yeah, I think a lie down's the best way to put it. It was another great, exciting week here in Weekend Warriors. We had some really great battles up and down the timing tower, which is common, which happens every week. So, I mean, Jim Hodgson, who used to work on this series, called it the best series on the platform, and and I consumed the Kool-Aid, and I agree as well. This is the best series on the platform.
It is. Having covered many different series across all different types of racing, you really do struggle to find one that comes close to, let alone beating, the amount of action and thrills and spills that this series delivers out. And I think, for myself and Jonathan, it's a good time to say to you, good night, and we'll see you in a week's time at Brazil.